Hello and welcome to Courageous Journeys. I'm fortunate today that I have two local specialists in raw food, and we're going to go into in depth looking at what is a raw food diet, what are the benefits, and some of the things that it can help with as far as health issues. Very new to me, even though I've been living a Mediterranean diet. Raw foods is a new topic. Earlier in the month, we had organic pastures dairy, which we looked at raw milk, which the benefits on that are insane as well. And I'm really pleased to have today with me Naomi Ruth Hendrix, who is Naomi. Naomi is a mother, a raw food chef. She's a gardener, an artist, a photographer. She's a teacher and a community leader. She's also an equal rights activist, real food lover, and as she puts it, a Jill of all trades. Help me welcome Naomi. Thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
And I can't wait to pick your brain and learn more about raw foods and what you have to share with us. I know that after reading about your background, you originally started doing a raw food diet because of a health issue. I wanted to find out a little bit about your background first, what you were doing way before all this happened, if you're comfortable with that, and then how you got into a desire to start the raw food diets and what the catalysts were to do that.
Sure, great. So 16 years ago, I have started a new relationship with the wife that I have today. And we together have always individually wanted to have healthy lifestyle. As we found out that was something in common, that we wanted to have a good healthy life to live for a long time and have a great traveling life and all this. So we got our first juicer, and that juicer was I believe a Jack LaLanne.
Okay, yeah.
It's always the little
version I have. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people get started with that, and that's excellent. And that's what I started with. Almost everyone can get started with something simple like that. You don't have to overthink it and say, oh, I need this expensive juicer, because you just need to start.
Yeah.
And so let's start simple. And so I knew that that's what we needed to do, so we did. And we graduated from that and went into getting our Vitamix. And so we learned how to make green smoothies. And Victoria Botanko, she's a great green smoothie, Green for Life. She's one of my favorites. So we can talk about that later. But so we just wanted to have a good, healthy life. And so we thought we were eating so healthy, having organic and vegetarian and shopping at Whole Foods and thinking, and we had this $1,500 food bill every month.
Wow.
Because we were eating really good.
How many?
right?
Family of how many? Just a two? Wow.
And this is including going out on occasion,
Yeah, okay.
Once or twice a week maybe, if you went out. So I realized once I wasn't feeling well, and I found out that I had candida in the intestines, which my doctor called dysbiosis, and that was in 2008. And so at that time, it was before that though that I had heard about raw food. And so I was familiar with it, but I knew I wasn't ready for it yet. And so that's why we were slowly going into doing the smoothies, drinking, transitioning. Because it's really important to transition. You have to just figure out what is the new foods that I should change instead of these old things that I used to have.
Well, and I learned only recently that our bodies change every 7 years. And so what you're accustomed, what you think is good for your body changes at least how it reacts to it as well, which I found interesting for myself with allergies and
Right.
things.
Yeah, that's excellent. And that's a good point, because that's what made me attractive to raw food. Was a friend of mine was in San Diego, and she lives in San Diego. She came visiting, and I hadn't seen her for like 2 or 3 years, and she had been vegetarian for 25 years, and she looked totally different. I'm like, what did you do? And she said, my husband and I did a raw food challenge for 30 days a year ago, and we've not stopped.
Okay.
We've continued. And so our body, because it takes 1 year, I believe, to completely replenish all of your whole complete body.
That's fascinating. And the 30-day challenge they're suggesting also for a lot of people dealing with things like diabetes as well, right?
Right.
And then making that changeover with their diets.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we have links to talk about that too, that you can go to and find more information about helping people with diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just stuck
Yeah.
sometimes with this medicine that they're having to take, and so I appreciate the fact that we have this available.
Well, and as far as you changing over to a raw food diets, before we started the program today, you mentioned that you're no longer strict with the raw food diet. You kind of went back to incorporating back into your diet some cooked foods, but also high in nutrition levels, right?
Right. So we found out that when the dysbiosis, which I said is candida,
Mm-hmm.
my doctor, Sue Stone, said, you need to remove all processed food. Go sugar-free, wheat-free, gluten-free, vinegar-free, yeast-free. And so I was like, okay, so what else is there to eat?
Yeah.
And it's all raw food. And so that's when I searched and looked and started just finding books, going online, watching videos, and then actually loving what I found out, losing weight. I lost 15 pounds in the first, 2 weeks practically,
Mm-hmm.
in the first month. When you quit eating all processed food, our food bill went down to $500 a month instead of $1,500.
So you were still, even though you thought you were eating a healthy diet, they were prepared health foods, right?
And when we went into 100% organic, raw vegan, and our bill went down drastically.
Well, you cut all the meats and all the dairies, and that's a big chunk of a grocery.
So what our meats are nuts and seeds. Like I went to Pacific Grain and Seed here in town where I get our organic seeds and nuts. $300 is my meat bill.
So do you buy in bulk from them?
25 pounds.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
So what's that company again for those of us that, are we not?
I don't know, maybe they'll run out and they won't have any for me, shall I?
Okay, well, you're doing that as a business. So let's talk about your business for a minute. So this went from a personal choice and trying to live a healthier life to trying to help others, or how did that evolve into being a business?
Right. So like I said, my wife, recently, we just were the first ones in town. She was able to lose 85 pounds doing this on the first, in those first couple of years. As I was saying, we needed to go very consistent and stay on the same thing to get our bodies detox and cleanse, and it can be difficult because of the social part of it.
Right. Well, and the going out, for me, my family is not, but I've been trying to change over to vegan and raw foods, and they're like, aren't you going to eat with us? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to eat, but I'm eating this, and so
it can be challenging. It really can, and you have to, there's things for you to do, and I help people do that because I went through it, and so that's why I turned into helping others learn how, because I'm thinking, if I have had to figure this out, I know other people need to do this too, so I can help. I've been here all my life, since 1963.
Here in the Valley?
50 years old, thank you very much. Yes, I was born in Fresno Community Hospital. And so I'm here to give back to my community.
That's wonderful. I'm a proponent of that, most definitely. So the challenge is because I'm finding that I feel tired a lot. And as soon as I eat, which I didn't know as far as the gluten goes, and for the candida, I need that energy, but that's feeding the candida.
The sugar is feeding, so you need to be drinking juices for energy.
On the greens, on the leafy, and cut the fruits and cut
You can do celery juice and cucumber juice. It's very sweet. There is one fruit that is good for candida that kills off candida if you are afraid that you possibly have some, or you just want to keep it in check, is grapefruit juice.
I noticed that on the list of, I was looking down worst, better, best list, which I unfortunately couldn't put on the screen, but I found it fascinating that the other fruits were but grapefruit juice, but unlike vinegar. So what's wrong with vinegar?
Vinegar, well, apple cider vinegar, I use a raw apple cider vinegar from Bragg's, and that's a fermented
because of the fermentation.
Fermentation is okay. Some people say on Candida that you cannot use fermented foods, but I personally don't believe that for myself. I know that using fermented foods helped me get rid of my dysbiosis.
So with the dysbiosis, does one have to cut yogurt as well then?
No, not necessarily.
The
Yogurt is
panic in my eyes.
cultured. Yeah, yogurt is cultured. There are other yogurts, coconut culture yogurt and soy yogurt, which I do not suggest soy.
Soy
But it's
messes me
really
up.
easy to make your own coconut yogurt.
Instead of a dairy-based
Right,
yogurt.
right.
So back to how you started a business with this. So you wanted to
So
give back.
I wanted to give back, and so Rio Waller, my partner, I always say
Rio.
partner because sorry,
Okay.
is she helped me out during the summertime. We started this in the summer, I believe, or we did it for the first year on our own. And so as it came around to our first summer we decided, let's help. Let's go out to the community.
And educate people.
So we went to Whole Foods. And so we started having classes once a month.
On their program.
Whole Foods.
Okay, yeah, I've known several chefs that have gotten involved at Whole Foods. That's great that they do that.
Yeah, very much so. And they want me to come on a regular basis. I'm just really busy right now, and so I'm unable to, but I do still teach classes in my home also in the evenings, private classes. And so, and I will go back to Whole Foods. I have an open door there, and it's just getting our schedules together.
And so as far as your classes go, how do people find out what the schedule is, and how do they register to attend?
On my website, it's rawfresno.com. You go under, I believe, classes on the top link, and then it'll have a place, a form. And so you would
I didn't see the dates, though.
Yeah, because I've been on vacation for 10 days, and I've just gotten back. So I need to get my fall schedule on.
Okay.
And so and we just talked about it, and my next class is September. It's a Thursday. I think it's the 26th, 19th.
September 19th?
It's a Thursday. Is that the 19th?
I don't know, but let me confirm that with me so I can share with people, because we're going to be doing a few different series on health and nutrition, and I know I would be interested in taking the class.
Great. Yeah, so I do an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert, all for $25. I have this huge, large dining room table, and we all get to eat and prepare it and eat it and enjoy it and learn lots.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Wonderful. So on your website, what kind of information or resources do you provide for people as far as if they're interested in finding out more? Do you have any?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are links, many links, and there are some recipes, I believe, on my website also. I have some videos. If I don't have them on right now, I have.
Well, I know I found some
more.
Oh, good. I did find some information that you had done, some little videos on YouTube about, how to make kefir and different things.
Yes.
Which I found fascinating, but I thought it's a little in depth, possibly for the first show.
Right.
Just because a lot of our viewers may be like me and totally ignorant. So
no, it's not good.
In a minute we're going to break for a commercial, but what would you say? You have stacks of books here. What would you say? Do you have a favorite?
Well, I do. It's
probably checked out, huh?
Jennifer, yeah, it is actually. Jennifer Cornbly, she lives in the Bay Area, Berkeley, and she has this is her second book. It's for desserts. Her first one was raw food made easy.
Yeah, raw food made
easy,
that's
and it's for two people. So it's an excellent book, and it's excellent. Yeah. So she's really simple and easy. That's who I would suggest to starting out with if you're doing simple raw food dishes.
Okay. Well, we will be right back. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back shortly with Naomi. Thanks.
Hey, Central Valley, this is Chuck Leonard. Starting in September, I'll be on KAIL, my 7.1. Let's go out in the Tower District and see what people think.
That Chuck Leonard, he's a mess.
That Chuck Leonard, he made a permanent impression on me. Yeah, Chuck Leonard. I love him almost as much as I love coffee. Can I get another tweaker, please?
Central Valley Buzz with Chuck Leonard, starting September 16th on KAIL, my 7.1.
Fatman's Alley, Hungry Howie's, and Scoops Ice Cream. Tower Health Food, Samba Steakhouse, Mike Briggs Properties. There's Tower Market, Farmers Market too, Kuka's and Landmark, Mr. Sushi for you. Chicken Pie Shop, Fulton's Tully, Palominos, Spinner's Records, Tower Bike Shop, Irene's To Go. Bobby Sal's Restaurant, The Perfect Blend and Million Elephant, H&R Block, Starbucks Coffee, Piemonte's, Roger Rocca's Dinner Theater, The Second Space, Tower Tattoos, La Tienda, Me and Ed's is the place. International Furniture, The Review Cafe, Teasers Realty Market, Love Oak knows the way, Typhoon Restaurant, The Game Preserve, and Bia Bay, Sequoia Brewing, Russo Restaurant, Tower Clocks Today. Come to the tower, there's so much fun for everyone. Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun?
You're watching CentralValleyTalk.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Hello and welcome back to Courageous Journeys. I have Naomi here and we're talking about raw food diets, and we were just talking about some of her favorite books. She brought a wonderful stack of books here that all make me very interested in trying some of these recipes. But your favorite book, which you don't have, which you've checked out,
Yeah.
you acquired as a gift. And tell me about that, if you wouldn't.
Right. So Rio, my wife, had gone to the Bay Area and to celebrate a time with a friend of hers, and she came back with this wonderful gift, Cafe Gratitude recipe book. Oh, I was in love, and from that moment forward, I used every recipe in there, and I just studied every little bit, and loved it. And still is our favorite restaurant. We still.
So they're still running.
Oh
Cafe
yeah, very
Gratitude.
much.
Where are
so.
they located?
There's 3 in the Southern California.
Oh, okay.
And then there's Berkeley in Northern Cal, and also in Santa Cruz. So we just went to Santa
nice.
Cruz recently too, for the
they
first
opened,
time.
Hit all the major
Yeah.
areas.
And we also went to the farm. It's called Farm Love Cafe Gratitude. The owners, they live there, and we went to a farm dinner.
And so they're growing
Wonderful.
organic foods for their restaurants?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
nice. Their own produce.
All of their own produce.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah,
that. We
yeah.
had a couple weeks back, we had Abundant Harvest on here, and just there's so much that the general public doesn't know about how to source organic
Right.
foods, other than paying a fortune at some of the bigger,
Yeah.
produce stores. So, so you have some other books here. Is there anything that you would like to share with us that it's for starting out? So we're not necessarily, I'm sure there's some of you out there who are very well versed on raw food diet, but I think the majority of the people are not. That's my experience.
So what I would really suggest, if somebody wants, after you hear today, you think, gosh, that sounds like something I would like to try. Well, on Wednesday, that's tomorrow actually, I'll be at Kaiser Farmers Market. I have a booth there every Wednesday, and I'm there serving appetizers, entrees, desserts, smoothies, and fresh juice. And that's from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock every Wednesday. And so you could come and try something like that. And then I show people that I make it right there. And also I teach classes, and we spoke about that already. But I would start with a green smoothie. It's the simplest way to just add that to your diet. If you could just add one thing, and when you add one thing, you need to take one thing away.
Mm-hmm.
So if you add a green smoothie, just take one type of unhealthy beverage away. So if it's Pepsi or if it's Gatorade, or, whatever it might be. Just add one thing healthy and take one thing bad away.
Well, and what I found interesting, now it's going on like 8 weeks, and I started out transitioning to a vegan diet for spiritual reasons. And then I started thinking, wow, this is the first time, because we always have a fasting period for us as Orthodox Christians, but usually it's such a huge psychological and physical struggle for me, not only challenging to figure out what to cook for the kids and all of that, but this time was different. Something clicked. And so I'm fascinated by that. And I know that I have, in dealing with some of my own health issues, there's some things going on that I don't really know what they are. So trying to, like you, trying to figure out, how to make the whole body a better machine to do the work that I need to do. Most definitely. So,
and this might sound a little woo-woo, but I have found if I'm unsure about something that has possibly caused an ill feeling in my body, and I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm not quite sure, when I go to sleep, I'll ask myself, I wonder what that was. Do you think it was this or this? Go to sleep and wake up and usually have the answer.
Yeah, well, that's funny that you say that, because I've been doing that on other things, as far as inspiration goes. But most definitely, I definitely found, and that's why I had the raw dairy on here, is because I wanted to learn more about that, because I love dairy products, but in the last 2 years I became lactose intolerant, which is so frustrating when that's a huge part of what you eat.
Right.
And yeah, I was in denial for a while with that, and realized, as soon as you cut it, you don't have those issues. And then the raw, I was just like so excited during that program, because now I am drinking the raw milk.
Good.
No issues with that.
Issues.
And
Excellent.
eating the raw cheese and the kefir, and I'm loving that. But
Isn't
that
that
was
amazing?
after I came off of doing my 4 weeks with the vegan. So now trying to find a happy balance and still have the energy, which is, what I'm challenged with right now. I feel really tired. So, is there anything?
So I think it's the green smoothie, and I know chia in everyone's life is always good, and I know we're having that next coming up, but green smoothie, fresh juice.
I need to get the juice.
That's your candy. That's your new candy.
Yeah.
Fresh juice.
I love, I don't want any of you kids out there to feel like you were left out, but with one of my pregnancies, mega on the juicing. And really, and she just came out so, even though she's always been thin, so energetic and so mentally stimulated. And I often wondered, the one where I was craving, spicy foods and ice cream the whole time, versus when I was like juicing, how that played a role in the pregnancies and their development, how that comes out. So on that note, let's we're going to go ahead and cut to a video that we're going to play for you guys.
Okay.
And then we'll be back.
Great.
Okay. You ready for that?
Becoming more popular every day as millions of people are changing their eating habits to include more healthy foods. Live food restaurants are springing up. Uncooking shows are appearing on TV. And celebrities are speaking out about the benefits of a raw vegan lifestyle.
100% raw food diet consists of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, avocados, and you can eat some sprouts.
Raw foods are foods that have not been fired over 110 to 120 degrees, so the enzymes and the oxygen are alive.
I can't claim to be a raw foodist, however, I have at times been just strictly raw, and I try to be mostly raw regardless.
Actually, the concept of a raw organic food diet as being the healthiest of choices has been around for a long time. It is the most natural way for animals and humans to consume food. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, believed in the body's innate ability to heal itself. He regarded the food we eat as powerful medicine.
I believe that raw foods is a major transformative tool for people from, dealing with any kind of illness or wishing to make any kind of major change in their lives.
In Los Angeles, Vera and John Richter started America's first raw food restaurant in 1917. It lasted for 25 years. They called it the Eutrophion, which is Greek for good nourishment. It was a positive step in teaching Americans about the benefits of a raw food vegetarian diet. Another famous innovator, Ann Wigmore, first began making raw foods popular over 50 years ago. Ann used raw food to heal cancer. Today, her two original institutes still serve thousands of customers.
Initially, eating a raw food diet was nothing fancy. Just fruit, vegetables, grains, nuts, and seeds.
When I started this many years ago, I wasn't, I would say, fortunate enough to be able to eat some of the recipes that are available today. Some of these delicious foods you can get in a raw food restaurant. What I did, it was basically very, very simple. You cut up a couple of grapefruits, you ate a few nuts, or you made yourself a big salad, or you put all your salad ingredients in the blender and blended it up.
Today, there are so many exciting choices. Hi, my name is Kurt Tyson, and I was diagnosed with
Hi, and welcome back. Naomi and I were sharing with you with regards to raw foods, and I want to thank her for her time. We're going to have her back in our last segment, but before we do that, she wanted to share some information with you about her program that she has.
Yeah, so I have, it's called a Share to Heal food program. So there are individuals that would like to learn more about this. Then you can contact me, and I help you learn how to prepare this type of food. You volunteer your time on certain days, whatever your schedule. We work through your schedule. There might be something that you can do in 1 hour a week, or maybe you want to do 4 hours a week. So then you get to share this food with your family. You get to learn how to make it. You get to take this food home.
That's wonderful. I did have one question I forgot to ask earlier. You mentioned at Kaiser you're serving. Are we also able to buy a larger portion to be able to take home and serve to the family, or is there like little tables?
Yes.
I haven't been there, so.
Right. Well, there is an option to purchase larger amounts if you would like to order in advance.
Okay.
Then I can bring it on Wednesday and have
nice.
it available for you to take it home. But if you're just getting, but we do have large portions so that you're able to buy extra if you don't. But we definitely do special orders of cheesecakes and brownies and
Oh, I can't wait.
and
I
desserts.
can't wait. And once again, that's at the Kaiser
Farmers Market on First Fresno Street and Needs. Isn't that alluvial?
The main, right alluvial,
Kaiser.
in between alluvial and these there
Right.
on Fresno at
And
8 a.m. on Wednesday mornings?
Till 2, and we are right at the pharmacy door.
Okay, that's good to know. Because
Yeah.
I'm so bad about hitting the farmers markets at the right time with my own work schedule.
It looks like a brown igloo. It's a tent.
Okay, well, thanks again, Naomi, and we'll be back with you in a little while. We're
Thank
going to
you.
cut for commercial and have our beautiful Danny over there join us and talk to us about chia seeds and Mila and all the things that she's involved in with regards to raw foods. Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Fat Man's Alley, Hungry Howie's, and Scoops Ice Cream. Tower Health Food, Samba Steakhouse, Mike Briggs Properties. There's Tower Market, Farmers Market too, Kuka's and Landmark, Mr. Sushi for you. Chicken Pie Shop, Fulton's Foley, Palominos, Spinner's Records, Tower Bike Shop, Irene's To Go, Bobby Sal's Restaurant, The Perfect Blend and Million Elephant, H&R Block, Starbucks Coffee, Piemonte's, Roger Rocca's Dinner Theater, The Second Space, Tower Tattoos, La Tienda, Me and Ed's is the place, International Furniture, The Review Cafe, Teaser's Real Tea Market, Love Oak knows the way, Typhoon Restaurant, the Game Preserve, and B of A. Sequoia Brewing, Russo Restaurant, Tower Clocks today. Come to the tower, there's so much fun for everyone. Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun?
You're watching CentralValleyTalk.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com. Hi, you're watching Courageous Journeys, and I have with me this afternoon Danny Marsh. And Danny is originally from Germany. She relocated to England and lived there at 21 and moved here to the U.S. In 2011. And she is willing and offered to share her insights with regards to raw food and why she started a raw food diet. So help me welcome Danny Marsh. Thanks a lot for joining me today.
Thanks for
I
having
appreciate
me.
it. And she's a sweetheart, so I'm happy you're here with me.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Now, as we kind of went into the history with Naomi, why she started, when you and I had spoke a few weeks back, you were saying that you got interested in raw foods or in living healthier and vegetarian when you were in England, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what inspired that? What happened in your own life?
Nothing special really. I have been a vegetarian since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And while I was living in London, I slowly transitioned into becoming a vegan. And while I was living there, I discovered Dr. Gillian McKeith. She's a nutritionist out there. And she had a TV show at the time called You Are What You Eat.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And that just really inspired me to see those people's transformations just by changing their diet, how much of an impact the food had. Because before then, I just didn't eat meat, so that's
Right.
all there was.
But you're still eating other junk foods at that time.
Exactly. So that just showed me how powerful food were. And that got me interested in learning more and to healing my body and becoming just as healthy as possible.
And so because a lot of us are curious, but the information out there is overwhelming. What was your first resource and how did you get started?
She has a few books. This was the first book, You Are What You Eat, by Dr. Jodie McKeith, that I read, and that gave me a lot of information. Even though it's not just about raw foods, she has meats and dairies that she implements in these diets, but she's also very heavy on the raw food side. So since I was already vegan at the time, those meat and dairies, I just left them out and just took all the raw foods advice that I could get from her. And from there, I just searched for more information on the healthiest way of living, and that led me to raw foods and the Hippocrates Health Institute.
Now, on trying to find the balance with, so for transitioning from meats and other sources of protein to, for instance, nuts and seeds, I was watching on the internet that one guy was saying the mistake he made was eating too many of those because of the high fat content. Now, in any of your books, does it give you specific quantities that will allow you enough protein but not overkill on the fats? Or
Oh yeah, definitely. There's definitely portion control in what you eat, and a lot of people do that when they first go over to a raw vegan diet. They get very heavy on the nuts and the seeds,
which I love.
Exactly, yeah, and those become their new comfort foods. And so yeah, there's definitely portion control on those. You can't overdo it with the nuts and the seeds.
And so how many nuts and seeds would you say you allow yourself?
Well, I have about 3 scoops of chia seeds a day, which is 2 tablespoons. Yeah, it's 2 tablespoons, so 6 tablespoons of chia seeds a day. And then I have avocados once or twice a week.
That's a high fat.
And that's a high fat.
And
exactly, yeah. So that's why I only try and have it once or twice a week to not overdo it on those. And that's pretty much what I have on a regular basis. So it's like
the pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. Are you eating any of those?
I add those to my salads, yeah. I just sprinkle those on top of my salads, yeah.
On my cereal. So for you, what kind of changes did you feel in your body? Did you go through what I'm going through with feeling a lack of energy at first, or not necessarily?
I guess I never really noticed that I had a lack of energy, but I did feel a new surge of energy once I started on the raw foods. I had more energy, I was more awake, I didn't need as much sleep, and all those things. So yeah.
You are about like half my age, so that might be a factor, huh? I don't know, I try not to play that card, but you do start to wonder, because I'm usually like, for my entire life, go, 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 and these days, feeling a little bit different on a lot of counts. So you brought some other things with you here today. Do you want to tell us about some of those?
Sure. I have the my
said that's
raw
a good
food.
one.
Yes, this is like my raw food Bible that I go to. Like, and for Naomi, the Cafe Gratitude, I have the Hippocrates Health Institute Healthful Cuisine, which gives you a great guide on how to start off, how to stock your kitchen, and get started on a raw food diet. And the recipes are delicious, and this is my go-to book that
Stocking
I use.
your kitchen, that's a
Stocking
good
your
thing,
kitchen,
because
yeah.
I mentioned when we were at commercial that I hate using cookbooks, and the reason why I hate it is because you become accustomed to what you need to buy in order to cook the food you normally cook, and then whenever you go to a recipe book, inevitably they have some spice or something. So okay, I'm gonna have to get that and
Yeah, you can find it at the Hippocrates Health Institute's
Online?
website,
Okay.
or you can find it on Amazon also.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us about Hippocrates.
Hippocrates. It started in Boston with Dr. Ann Wigmore, and moved down to Florida, where they are now in West Palm Beach. And the directors are Dr. Anna Maria Clement and Dr. Brian Clement, that are leading the Health Institute.
Okay, and
people go there and do life transformation programs for 3 weeks and are on a raw food diet for 3 weeks while they're living there and getting
they
treatment.
stay there?
Yes. Yeah, you stay
And then
there.
you also said that they can become certified health.
Yes, they also have a 9-week health educator course there, where they teach you everything they know about nutrition
And you'd like
how
to
to
take
prepare.
that, huh?
Yes, that's what I'm.
So that's her goal. She
Yes.
wants to be able to do that. So we're going to try and help you towards that goal somehow, some way.
Oh, there's a way.
And there's a will, there's a way, that they say,
exactly.
right? And you had guided me to Danny Clement's, some of the. Sorry, Danny. I go again. Brian Clement's YouTube video. So we're going to cut to that, and he talks. The portion that I am about to show you, I found to be the most useful as far as what he breaks down with related to the seeds and nutrients and the Hippocrates Institute. So we'll cut to that, and we'll be right back.
Now, the first time that it was ever written down that there was in plant-based food incredibly healthy things was Hippocrates. And that was actually 650 years BC. He looked at flax oil. You don't have to use the flax oil to get benefits from flax. You can also eat it raw, sprout it, or ground up, and sprinkle on salads to get the highest possible concentration. Chia and hemp can also be used in the same way. But now you look at why you'd want chia seed. And look down the list. Chia, just in the powdered form like it is remarkable, and that is not mila. That is not mila. That's normal chia that you get out of the regular health store. Now, this was done at the most important research institute in nutrition in the United States, probably in the world, the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University. I've been out there and did some work with them in the past. Now, mila is a natural source of omega-3s, antioxidants, phytonutrients. Now, that's something that we don't talk enough about. How many of you know what a phytonutrient is? Phytonutrients are the most important element we've ever discovered in the history of nutritional science. Is non-GMO, genetically modified organism. Now, look at these things. Why does it make you lose weight? Anyone know that? You should know that. You're out there teaching people about this. When you give a major protein, this is all the essential amino acids in there, and no carbohydrate, and the essential fats in the way that they should be, they change the metabolism of the person and actually get the gallbladder and liver to function the way it ought to function to begin with. That's why most of us get overweight and obese, because the gallbladder and liver, gallbladder filtering fats and liver blood are not functioning. That's why I said to you about 8 minutes ago that you could sustain life on this if you needed to. But it also has this major anti-disease element. and anti-weight element. Anti-aging. Why do you think it's anti-aging? Anyone know that? Because you're sexy when you take Mila. Look at the way you danced. Matter of fact, we're going to do some more dancing at the end of this if you don't watch out. Joint health. Now, every single month we come up with another international study to show you how the proper omega-3s help the joints and maintain the joints. So if you're lucky enough to have a child or a young 20, 30-year-old person begin to take Mila on a regular basis, the likelihood ever that they have joint problems, even if they're competitive athletes, is minimized to almost a nonsense level, almost zero. So this is something you want to teach athletes and for parents with children, because children are much more active than adults in most cases. Bone health. How does that work? Well, what you have is a combination between the essential fats and particularly high levels of specific amino acids in there that allow the absorption into the marrow of the bone and helps the stem cell develop. You have blood health, because what you're really doing, it's a scavenger. So the Mila, more by far than any other form of seed, and certainly than any other form of chia seed, goes into the body like a vacuum cleaner and cleans out the bloodstream. And why you want the bloodstream cleaned out is so that your immune system is not working on getting rid of pollutants, that even if you eat well and exercise and do all the things that are just matter of fact, you better do it. This particular form, because I've used other forms and tested it, I'm not exactly positive of the mechanism, but because of the proteins and the particular ways that these essential oils come into the body and go through the blood-brain barrier, they create a stability within the frontal lobe of the brain. And when you do that, a lot of these problems diminish, and even in many cases I've observed go away when you combine it with an ethical lifestyle. A lifestyle where you honor your body. A lot of you say you're spiritually awakened here. If you're not honoring your body, you're not spiritually awakened. If you're not out there moving around, exercising, building muscles, building strength, building bones, and eating pure food, you are not awakened. It's not good enough anymore to be a salesman.
Hi, we're back with you, Danny Marsh and I, Theodora. And he touched on some critical things with regards to your health and a raw food diet. And Danny's going to share with some of her opinions on that and some things that she has here today.
Yeah. So something that me and my husband, and actually my dog and my cat as well, have been eating is the Mila seed that Dr. Brian Clement was talking about. And it's been great. We do about 2 to 3 scoops a day of this. And it gives you so many nutrients that most people don't get in their day-to-day lives. And it fills you up. The chia seeds expand when they become wet, so it kind of cuts your hungers in half as well, and you don't eat as much throughout the day. Like, I don't snack as much anymore as I did before. And so it's been really great, and it's something that anybody, like, it doesn't taste of anything, so anybody can implement this into their diet as like something, like Naomi said, start with the green smoothie. If that's too much for you taste wise, chia seed doesn't, or the Mila seed doesn't,
no flavor.
Yeah, there's no
it's just
flavor
getting
to it,
beyond
so.
figuring out how you like the consistency.
Exactly,
For me,
yeah.
when I first tried them, it was in a liquid, and my kids were freaking out when I was drinking it. But then I realized I actually like it thicker, a little bit thicker, to drink that. But what's so special, though, about the combination? Let's talk about
the
that.
Mila, the difference between the Mila seed and your average chia seed that you buy in the store is the Mila is a proprietary blend of the most potent strains of chia. And so that's why it has the higher amount of nutrients than you would find in your one strain chia seed that you buy in the supermarket.
Right, because when I did research on the one strain, there really isn't as high of a content as what they're providing here with traveling all around the world. You said now near the equator, right?
They're grown near the equator, yes, where the soil is very mineral rich and high in nutrients, and the weather is at the right temperature and all that, perfect climate for them to grow and have the highest amount of nutrients.
And they also can be used, as we had a few shows back, we had Nathan Copeland on here showing us how you can make a jelly, a raw jelly with fruits and mixing in the chia seeds, then does the coagulation.
Exactly.
So you don't have to cook it and make more sugar content. But I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Is there anything else you want to share? Now is her website up there? Yes, it is. I believe it is. If you'd like to contact Danny.
Yeah, you can contact me that way, and if you also are interested in trying out the Mila seed, you can get that there also.
And you're doing some tastings and things like that,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thanks for coming in this afternoon. I appreciate it, and I'll be seeing you soon. So, we're going to go ahead and cut for commercial. We'll be right back.
This segment has been brought to you by Horn Photo in the Bellagio at River Park. For all of your photo and camera needs, go to Horn Photo in the Bellagio at River Park.
Family photos tell your stories. Faces, places, milestones, and moments. You probably meant to preserve those memories. But where are those pictures now? Hiding in boxes or inside the discoloring pages of old albums? Do you own hours of home movies and videotapes that you can't even watch? Slides and negatives that you've saved for all these years and never get to see? Think of all those precious memories that you've saved from the past to share with the future. Thanks to technology, we're taking more photos than ever, but we're not printing them like we should. Those digital images are held hostage on phones, tablets, and hard drives, leaving them as high-risk targets for accidents and hardware failure. What will happen to all of these images that tell your life story? Cherish those captured memories, not by hiding them, but by safely saving them. Put this overwhelming task on your own agenda or enlist Horn Photo's expertise. Horn Photo provides hands-on help from day one with organizing, scanning, restoring, and duplicating photographs. We can digitize your print and video memories onto DVD for easy viewing and safe, efficient storage. All you need to do is gather your prints, slides, negatives, and videos, then bring them into Horn Photo, where we will care for your cherished memories. In most cases, you can pick up your originals and your DVD within a few days. Once everything is on DVD, it's easy and affordable to order copies of your DVD for your children, siblings, and the rest of your family, so that you can share your memories with everyone. The best part is what can happen once your memories are digitized. We will show you how to transform your pictures into keepsake photo gifts and products you can enjoy for years to come. Don't wait for a disaster to destroy your collection of memories. Take steps to sort, save, and share your life in photos, whether you do it yourself or have Horn Photo help. Stop into Horn Photo and see our full range of solutions for saving and sharing your precious memories.
You can advertise your business, your product, or your event on Central Valley Talk, the Valley's only internet television station. Several of our programs are also picked up on Dish and cable networks. For the best advertising dollar, call Central Valley Talk at 579-1360.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Hi, you're here tuning in with Naomi Hendrix and I on Courageous Journeys, and we're talking raw foods. We were going to go ahead and talk about children and raw foods because I found some conflicting things with that, but what I hear is that there's a lot of good diets that you can have children on as well for raw foods.
Yes, absolutely. I have two grandchildren myself, a 2-year-old Brody and an 8-year-old Logan. In fact, if you come out to Kaiser tomorrow, you'll see Logan. He is my cashier, and so he is very helpful. He's homeschooled, so
Okay, I was gonna say-
so homeschooling at a farmer's market is an excellent learning experience.
Oh, definitely. When you have your own business, I'm all for bringing kids in. They learn a lot. They learn a lot. So, are they on a raw food, or are they on what do they do?
Well, they live with their parents that are carnivores, and
Okay.
they choose healthy food items to very much so. But when they're with me, of course, they drink smoothies and make juice, and they help me. What's very important is to it's called impressions, and children have impressions, and they start at 6 months old. And so, why you want to impress your children about what to eat and how you do that is when you have big delicious bowl of fresh fruit on your table all the time, fresh vegetables, that they see this. When you're holding your 6-month-old nursing and they're seeing fruit on the table, not cans of soda. So impressioning for children is so important. They're going to remember. I remember growing up in the garden. I remember doing these things when I was a child with my grandparents. And so it's really important to me.
Yeah, it is. They do have an impression, and even when their friends are pulling them towards fast foods. My elder children are 21 and 19, and at some point I was concerned that, they're drifting to the fast food. But then they go off on their own, and they are cooking healthy, meals, and we're big on the vegetables, even though we eat mainly a Mediterranean diet. Big on the vegetables. So right. I did have, is there anything else you want to say with regards to children? And because there's a clip we're going to go into in a few minutes, but I know there are different theories out there too, because for instance, Dr. Clement has a different point of view with regards to the food sources for children, or everyone for that matter, with regard versus the other gentleman who's on the next clip talks about krill, which is high in pollutants and contaminants. So you have any advice for us on that?
Oh my goodness. I think taking your children to help them learn where their food is coming from is the most important thing. It's going to help them throughout their life.
That makes sense. A lot of children don't know where it comes from.
They do not know where it comes from. Exactly.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and cut to that video, and then we'll be right back.
Children.
Pregnancy, nursing.
Okay, I think the number one thing ever discovered for children's nutrition at this point, based on what I know, is marine phytoplankton. Now we're finally getting an isolated product, meaning it's not a product with a bunch of other things in it, like herbs and stuff, just the marine phytoplankton. What that does, it's the minerals, it's mitochondria food, so it has growth factors in it. For example, a whale becomes, from like this to, this on one food, which is plankton. So for children's growth, there has to be, in the raw food genre, there has to be certain foods with growth factors in it. I've seen that children who don't have the right nutrition don't have really vigorous growth. We've found which foods those are. Marine phytoplankton is one. Coconut is another one. Goji berry is another one. And those foods have something that other foods don't have. Now, there's other things that come out of the sea that also have important growth factors that may be considered by a breastfeeding mother, because these oils that we take in go through the breast milk, and one of them is krill oil. Krill oil has growth factors in it. Krill is also eaten by whales, and this is in the basis of all the plants is marine phytoplankton. At the basis of all the animals on the whole planet is krill. There's probably 10 times, probably more, it might be 1,000 times, more, nobody knows, more krill in the oceans than there are ants on the land.
Do you know what krill is in Dutch? Same.
I think it's the same word. Yeah, and so krill oil for a mother, because it's so high in growth factors and DHA and EPA, long chain omega-3 fatty acids, is really important.
And you're not concerned about pollution in the waters?
Well, most krill is actually farmed out of the Antarctic Ocean. Now, the Antarctic Ocean is a lot less polluted than, for example, our daily organic vegetables. There is no way we're ever going to be able to completely escape pollution, because DDT has been found in polar bears. It's present on the entire planet. There's no organism that's not affected by it. So we have to do the best we can in an unusual situation. We're in a disturbed situation, obviously. And therefore we have to do the best we can to make sure we get the best nutrition with the least amount of side effects and the least amount of exposure to artificial chemicals. Protein now. Let's talk about protein.
Yeah.
The best natural source of protein for children is superfoods. Goji berry, hemp seed, spirulina, blue-green algae, bee pollen. These are complete protein sources, and they're real protein. They're not some kind of a meat product, which isn't even really real protein. Actually, most meat is deficient in protein, and then when you cook it, you lose another half of the protein right there. So a lot of people who are eating meat actually have protein deficiencies, like tryptophan deficiencies, phenylalanine deficiencies, which are amino acids that are subject to being destroyed by heat. And that's extremely common. I mean, everybody has tryptophan deficiency who eats meat because it's not present in the meat. Okay, so another big factor is vitamin B12. Either supplementally taking vitamin B12 if you're a vegan, taking in, for example, krill oil is really good because it has vitamin B12 in it and it meets other needs as well. We're looking right now into research that marine phytoplankton may contain usable vitamin B12. So that's something that I know works. I know women who've gone through entire pregnancies now on marine phytoplankton, and I've seen their children, and I kind of seen what's going on. I would also recommend, it's not a complete protein.
Hi. So you were telling me while we were watching that you have some conflicting views with regards to what he shared. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, he has been in the raw food world for quite a long time, many years, and but I feel using local foods are the healthiest for us. I know that some people think that superfoods are very great and grand, but if you look back in history, we weren't able to fly superfoods to us back in the day when we were eating these fermented, wonderful traditional foods that are right here locally. Wherever you are locally, that's the food you need to eat to make.
Well, and someone else mentioned that to me the other day. She was saying that nutritionally wise, the body is more in tune with what the minerals and the things that are found generally in your own geographic area. Obviously, now we're such a mobile society, but going back to maybe hereditary wise,
Is your body able to receive those nutrients from this other tropical area? Who knows? We don't know. So, but one other thing I wanted to mention is you might notice that I have braces. And so that was one of the things that is so helpful, especially a lot of parents out there that have children, is every time I have my wires adjusted, my teeth kill me for about 4 or 5 days at least. So I drink smoothies every meal, and then my teeth don't hurt because they only hurt when you bite. So if you drink your food those whole time, then you heal really quick and you're ready and you don't have the pain because it's inflammation that it helps. Smoothies help inflammation.
Reduce the inflammation.
Correct.
And then as far as smoothies, my kids love smoothies, but they want to throw in some whey protein powder and bananas and all the sweet stuff. So we don't have the proper equipment to do, like Vitamix makes a huge difference in creating a smooth smoothie that doesn't feel so full of pulp and everything.
Exactly.
Well, we only have a few seconds left, so once again I want to ask you to tell our guests how they can get in touch with you. And we already know Kaiser, which I'm going to come check you out tomorrow.
Great. And so, I didn't tell you that I have a gourmet food truck that is going to be wheeling out here pretty soon in the fall.
Oh, that's new. Oh, great.
Yeah, and I haven't, it's in the shop getting windows put in and all kinds of solar on the top, and it's running on biodiesel. So I'll be out there with Dusty Buns and the other cart hop.
Yeah, that's the new thing in the food trucks, which is
Yeah.
exciting for Fresno. Totally
So
different.
look for that.
I will. What's it going to be called?
It's Raw Fresno.
Okay.
Yeah, big white truck with all the pretty pictures of the pretty food.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again. I appreciate your time and your wisdom and sharing that with our guests.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Courageous Journeys, and we look forward to coming back to you soon.
Great, thanks.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
This segment has been brought to you by Horn Photo and the Bellagio.